This is why all parents should monitor what their kids do online. I will go ahead and let you know this is a trigger warning, as well as viewer discretion is advised. On March 3rd of 2023 in Montrose, Colorado, the Ramirez family was selling into their night routine where 56-year-old Dave Ramirez, who was a web designer, was working in his home office, and his 41-year-old wife, who was putting their youngest child to bed, who was 3-year-old Matthew Ramirez, and their 20-year-old daughter Noelle Ramirez had told her mom that she wasn't feeling well and decided to go to bed early. So all was quiet a little bit after midnight when they got an unexpected knock at their door, and when the father went to go answer, that's when he realized it was the Montrose Police Department at his door. His wife had came to the door as well, and that's when police had notified the parents that they had found their 20-year-old daughter Noelle Ramirez at a park unresponsive. When they took her to the hospital, they had found that she was DOA upon arrival. Now, the family felt distraught because they knew that Noelle had suffered from mental illness since she was a young child, where she suffered from depression, OCD, gender dysphoria, which is a person who feels unease between their biological sex as well as their gender identity. And seeing how both parents felt that they was good parents, they did everything they could to accept her for who she was, even going as far as paying for her gender reassignment surgery. And shortly after received their surgery, they had felt that she had turned a corner and was doing good with her life. Now, Noelle has been in and out of mental hospitals over 20 times throughout her lifetime, but due to her hospitalization, she felt that she wanted to do good with her mental illness and decided to become a nurse. She would even go on to tell them that she wanted to go to nursing school as well as travel around Europe as a nurse. But on the day that she had lost her life, the parents had found that she had snuck out her room when everybody thought she was sleeping, and had went to the park where she dialed 911, told them that her intention was to end her life, where she had took an unknown chemical at the time that ended her life. The family would go ahead and held a service for her where they remember her as a strong, driven, and intelligent young woman who memorized the periodic table at the age of 8, where she didn't just memorize the numbers, but as well as the half-life of each element. And when she became a teenager, she learned how to build computers, where she gave them to her friends who couldn't afford them. And the only thing she asked for was their friendship, because she never asked for any type of money at all. So the family was left to mourn until 2 months later, on what would have been Noelle's 21st birthday, when police would again approach their household and tell them even more devastating news. Now, the Montrose Police Department will go ahead and tell them that they've been working with the FBI and they've been monitoring Noelle's online activities, where they found out that she was part of a sanctioned website. And on this website, all the members were anonymous, where they would discuss in depth on how they were in their lives, as well as the time and place they would do so. And there were even people on there that would tell them to go ahead and do so. Now, police would go ahead and tell the family that through these websites, they believe that Noelle had met this man, 58-year-old Kenneth Law, who was a business person as well as a hotel chef. The police would then tell the Ramirez family that Kenneth Law is currently sitting in jail in Canada because he started a business where he was selling kits to people on these websites who wanted to take themselves off the census. And upon their investigation, they have found out that Noelle was one of his customers. Now, inside these kits he was selling people who want to take themselves off the census, it contained sodium nitrite, which is a food preservative that's used to preserve meat to make them last a lot longer. Now, what it would do in the human body is that it would attach itself to the blood cells. Seeing how blood cells are made of hemoglobin, which allows oxygen to attach to it, it would cause methemoglobin, which prevents oxygen from combining with the blood, so that way no oxygen-rich blood will go to any of the tissues throughout the body, which includes the brain. An example of how this will work is how cyanide will work. Now, Kenneth Law had allegedly sold over 1,200 parcels of this lethal substance to over 40 different countries, which includes the US, Canada, and UK. He sold to people age ranging from 16 to 36 years old. In the UK, he sold to over 272 people, in which only 90 of those people had taken themselves off the census with his substance. But the only reason why he wasn't charged in the UK was because they could not confirm if they had took any of those substances. Now, Kenneth Law is currently being held in jail in Canada, where he's looking at 28 different charges, and with 14 of those are first-degree murder charges, and the other 14 charges are the abetting and counseling of SI in the death of 14 people. As of right now, Kenneth is not being charged with Noelle's death, and his lawyer has stated that he is pleading not guilty on all charges because he states that he is not responsible for how people use his products that he sells them. Now, experts would say that Kenneth would be considered devious because he would go on these websites and find vulnerable people to sell his products to, in which would fall underneath a typology of organized crime functionaries, in which their main purpose is to make a profit off a person's death. As of right now, Kenneth Law is sitting in jail waiting for his trial, And both David and Sarah are working in the community by passing a bill that regulates the sale of sodium nitrite.